Daily The Brief with Danny Marie, where podcasting, AI, and pop culture meet. From creator news to what's trending today, we're breaking it down the Danny Marie way. Tips, tools, headlines, and industry tea. Weekdays at 12:45 PST. So grab your notebook, coffee, or your tea. It's Daily The Brief with Danny Marie. Yeah!
You guys, today is Monday. I'm so happy to be in front of you. If you know, you know that I've been here consistently every day of the week that is, not the weekends, Monday through Friday, 12:45 p.m. PST. Now, today, I was so ready to join you at 12:45, but of course, we always run into some technical issues. And so I've been on here trying to rectify that since about 12:25. So pardon my delay, but I won't hold you back any further. We have a lot to cover in our short time together. You know, we talk about AI, podcasting, of course, and pop culture news, things that are relevant and prevalent on a daily basis, right? So every day is a new daily debrief. But today, of course, we're doing things a bit differently. There's a sense of urgency. I don't know if you feel it, but I certainly feel it. If you are a content creator or a podcaster and you're not thinking about how you can maximize this FIFA opportunity, I'm going to lay it out for you from top to bottom, right? So why am I personally vested in this? It's because I have a podcast, Host City Hustle. You can find out information about us on our website, hostcityhustle.com. And specifically, we are very interested in teaching how small businesses, solopreneurs, podcasters, creatives can get ahead of these big events when they come, right? So most people are planning to attend FIFA. I want to tell you how you can actually get ahead of the curve and how you can document the World Cup, whether it's content creation through video, content creation through blogging. We're going to lay it out. We're talking about building your media company ahead of the World Cup. All right. So before we dive fully in, of course, I am Danny Marie. I help businesses and creators use podcasting as a marketing tool so they can build trust with their audience and turn listeners into customers through clear content strategies, systems, and training. And if you are a business or advertiser, I can help you get in front of the right audience so you can also increase sales and brand awareness through podcast promotions, creator partnerships, and live activations. All right. That said, let's dive right in. I do want to mention before we get into the nitty-gritty details that we actually have a street team for hire. So for those of you who are in the Seattle area, we actually, this is what I'm looking for, sorry. We actually are going to be boots to the ground. And some of you guys are going to be operating your businesses. You don't have the time, the space, the opportunity to be boots to the ground, to get down there to the watch parties, to get the fanfare and all of the excitement. So we are going to be boots to the ground, capturing the events for you. We'll be in Olympia, Bellevue, Seattle, and possibly Puyallup, tentatively speaking. We have very reasonable packages. And you can find information about us on our website again, hostcityhustle.com, or if at all useful, you can also use the QR code instead. That's right there at the top. scan the QR code to get more details. We have a $25 package, a $50 package, and a $100 package. So basically, while we're there, we can pass out your material. We can put you up on our flyers, make sure that people know about what food options or what entertainment options are out there, including your place of business. While we're out there, we also can shout out your business during our live stream and make sure you get the proper marketing that your business deserves while we are in the thick of it. So again, more information available on our website. The QR code was up there, and you can also scan the QR code on the flyer as well. And I'm going to take this time to check the comment section. So love it. Thank you so much to White Collar for tuning in on YouTube. We appreciate you and your support. And I think in a future live, we're definitely going to shout you all out because you have been so instrumental to a lot of our success, right? As business professionals, I think that most people, as you already have eloquently laid out in a lot of your content, most people need a mentor, whether you feel like you're rocking it or not. Most people do need someone just to hold them accountable, someone to check in with, someone to bounce ideas off of. You know, when you're introducing a new offer, you need someone who can say, this sounds like a great idea, or here's where you can improve. So definitely look out for a future live talking more about White Collar, but you can visit them. If you're on YouTube, go interact with them because they just left us a comment. All right, so let's get into it. So setting up your media company, again, I told you why I was personally passionate about this, because I don't think enough small businesses are privy to when a big sports event comes to your town. There's a lot more that you could be doing than just letting things kind of play out, right? Unfortunately, what tends to happen, like when the FIFA World Cup was in talks, in the works, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, but many of us are just now catching the wave. So big corporations already have been planning this out with their steering committees, and we're just unfortunately always left out of the conversation, right? So why do I think this is important? Because there's so much money on the table that we miss out on because we're not plugged in. But we are in a good space as podcasters and content creators because we don't necessarily need to pivot our entire business. Like, it's almost difficult for a restaurant or an entertainment spot to pivot and customize things for the World Cup. But you still have some time, right? You still have time to create yourself a nice media company. I actually have a friend that I met in Atlanta. You can visit our blog where we talked about our visit to Atlanta and specifically our visit to Terminus. And you can find that on the podcastpeaks.com/blog website, just to quickly throw that out there. But when I met him in Atlanta, his business was entirely different. He has a grocery store because where he is at, there's a food desert, right? Bear with me. But after, it's been like, 2 months, not even 2 months quite yet, because April, so like on the 25th of this month. But he has an entirely new business now, still going to be doing the grocery business. But when I talked to him this past week, he said, I started a media company because of FIFA. The World Cup is coming, and I don't feel like there's enough people around me that are big up on all of the things that are going to be taking place. So he started a media company. He partnered with someone who can do the drone shots. He's going to be doing a bunch of content on the ground floor. And it's really that easy to start yourself a media company. And I think it's especially important, right? If you are in this creator content creation space, to just do at least one thing, right? To catch the foot traffic, whether that's in person on the ground floor, or whether that is online by producing something on your website, like a blog, like the top 10 spots to hit up in the Atlanta area or wherever you are. So we're going to get into it finally. I keep kind of saying that, but I just want to stress the importance of this viral moment, the FIFA World Cup, coming to a city near you. So let's start off with setting up your own media company. So, of course, there's a number of ways that you can go about this. I'm going to tell you the ways that make most sense for me and my audience based on my experience. So, Tailor Brands is probably the best option under the time constraint and where you can get everything done under one house. Tailor Brands, you can get your LLC under one house. You can get your EIN number under one house. You can get your trademark. You can get your business logo all under one roof. Just go to tailorbrands.com. I do have a link for you guys that I'll share in the description of this video. But Tailor Brands to me is, like I said, the most conducive option. I have went through another third party to get all of my business affairs in order. That was a pretty hefty penny. Didn't come out of my pocket, was mostly my co-host, but the total ticket was quite a bit. Tailor Brands helps you get everything done without having to go from every location to get all of these things. It's under one roof, and it's not as much because we're not paying like attorney's fees and all of those added costs. So tailorbrands.com to get your LLC, EIN, trademark, and your logo under one roof within the next hour, and you would be good to go, right? When it comes to contracts, invoices, client management, I use HoneyBook. I recommend them because HoneyBook is a CRM, customer relationship management tool. You don't necessarily need them. You could also use tools like ChatGPT, but you can create a HoneyBook account for anywhere to like $25 to $60, depending on how many different lead offers you want out there. But I use HoneyBook at least to help with my transactions, collect payment. Sometimes if a person uses a credit card, it takes a little longer for processing. Sometimes if they use a debit card, you can get your instant payouts if you need to. You can draft up your contracts. You can create specific files for your clients. And it might be useful to you if you're working with, like, let's say a small business and you want some type of agreement in place that while you're out there boots to the ground doing your content, that you are going to be compensated for your time to promote that business that you're in partnership with. So you would use HoneyBook to help you draft your contract, create your files, create your lead forms, create any kind of email automation, and essentially things that just help run the back end of your business. Invoices, client management, etc. Canva, I don't know if this is still an offer, still a thing, but I know for 30 days, Canva's allowing people to use a pro account absolutely free. I used to be die-hard Canva fan because I use them for like removing my images on my background and creating really nice graphics and flyers. But I haven't been using them for a while since AI kind of came to be. And I think that's partly why Canva is offering this 30-day free trial, because they're realizing that they're competing with they're competing with ChatGPT or Gemini. And I forgot I don't even have my headphones. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. But because they're competing with other platforms like Manus and others, I think that's the reason why Canva is doing this offer. and I feel a little naked, so I'm going to go and get my headphones, you guys. Sorry, but 45 seconds break. Here we go.
Daily the Brief with Danny Marie, where podcasting, AI, and pop culture meet. From creator news to what's trending today, we're breaking it down the Danny Marie way. Tips, tools, headlines, and industry tea. Weekdays at 12:45 PST. So grab your notebook, coffee, or your tea. It's Daily the Brief with Danny Marie. Yeah.
I realized I didn't have my headphones, and I was like, I have everything normally in my little station devoted for my podcasting related stuff. And I'm assuming that my 6-year-old was responsible for why I don't have my headphones, because everything that was in my basket for content, like my charger and my stand and my ring light, all of those things were there, and my headphones were not where they would needed to be. So I didn't realize that I was naked until I was mid conversation. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. And thank you for your patience. But yeah, I felt naked without my headphones, you guys. So I was talking about HoneyBook, and then I was explaining Canva. So with Canva is great because you can obviously use it for flyers. You can use it for several different tools and features, including creating a media kit, your graphics, and your brand assets. And again, they're doing this trial right now where you can do 30 days without having to pay, because normally I believe it's upwards to like $19.99 now if you want the pro account. So Canva is great. If you know of any alternatives, I would recommend that you use them, including ChatGPT, Gemini, Manus, Notebook LM, to name off a few. Now, StreamYard is what I'm using, and I pay $88 a month to be able to have 10 different people on my live stream if I wanted to, and to be able to multi-stream to 10 different platforms as needed. So that's great. If you're going to be interviewing and you're going to be live streaming, use a platform like StreamYard. Definitely have to keep in mind of your connection and the connectivity. Sometimes it's best to pre-record, but StreamYard is an option, especially if you're working with any brands or small businesses. You can be advertising them, give a professional feel for the live stream, add your backgrounds, add your media assets, add your music and other things to take your live stream up a notch. And then the ability, like I said, to be able to multicast, multi-stream to multiple platforms at once. Then when it comes time to edit your content, you can use tools like Descript. What we love about Descript is it reads like a Word document. You can find all of your filler words and your dead pauses, and you can automatically remove those with a touch of a button. And then Opus Clips allows you to also take your long form content, convert it to short form content without much of the editing done on your end. Substack, you can upload your content to Substack to create a newsletter. So post-production, after the live has ended, you might do a recap, you might put a blog together, you might start an email list because maybe you want to keep the momentum going. Substack is a great option. So just getting your media company established, I named off quite a bit. I will repeat: Tailor brands for all of your business tools, including your LLC, EIN number, trademark, your logo, HoneyBook for your contracts, invoices, client management, Canva for media kits, graphics, and brand assets, StreamYard for your live streaming if you're boots to the ground, also to help with your interviews. So maybe you're not able to be there for all of the shows if you're doing this FIFA World Cup recap, but maybe you can invite 10 businesses onto your stream and highlight those 10 businesses ahead of one of the matches. When it comes to editing Descript or Opus Clip to repurpose your content, and when it comes to disseminating that content across platforms, you can do that in a newsletter, blog, or email list on Substack. All right, let's talk about what should your media company cover. So this is where I think the real value is. Not necessarily that you need to create a podcast under duress, under last minute notice, but you're becoming essentially a local correspondent, boots to the ground, in all of the fanfare, getting all of the viral moments in real time, something for history's sake, right? It's a capsule in time. So you could become a restaurant reporter, interviewing different restaurant owners, different food trucks, different chefs and visitors in the area, people who are enjoying a meal in passing, or again, if you can go into one of these shops when they're not highly trafficked, then you can visit some of the restaurants and get them before maybe the doors open, right? Or before the influx of traffic comes in. Interview the chefs, interview the food trucks in your local area, and then create content around that about, from my visits, this is what I think you should get on the menu. Or you can talk about the most recommended items or the things within a reasonable budget, or create a list of like the top 10 restaurants in the area. Or if you know that one of these restaurants are doing anything themed, right? Because some restaurants will try to accommodate some of the people that are traveling that are not from here. So Mexican cuisine and all kind of other things, right? Thai, all kind of stuff might be non-traditional for them on their regular menu, but because of the FIFA World Cup and people traveling from outside of the country, they might be doing something different to curate a special menu. So you can highlight that if you plan on doing something to report back as a restaurant reporter. You can create YouTube videos, shorts, blog posts, a newsletter. The options are endless, right? This helps you with your SEO and your AEO, depending on where you're posting to, using strategic keywords to make sure you're communicating and getting the foot traffic to your website. And not only just keeping, like if it's a YouTube video, it doesn't have to just stay on YouTube, right? You can turn it into short form, add it to the YouTube Shorts feed, and then take that same YouTube video, put it up in a blog post, then take that same content, put it up on Substack as a newsletter. So it's not just the one thing, but you're doing one thing at a time and making multiple pieces of content from that one piece of content you create. I'm going to do an audio check. Again, as I'm checking audio, I want to remind you that we are doing a street team style of content for the World Cup. So street team for hire, boots on the ground for FIFA 2026. Get your business seen at fanfare events. You can scan the QR code on the flyer, or feel free to scan the QR code at the top of the screen. This leads you directly to our website where we talk more about the different packages. Again, there's an option for us to hand out flyers and promo material highlighting your business while we are in the thick of the fanfare event. We also can promote you on our blog. We also can promote you when we're doing our live stream. So there's one thing to be on a flyer. There's another thing to be live streaming and then shout out your business. And then a totally another thing to have you on our blog where you actually live, and there's a link designated for you on top of, your website and what you're already doing. Now, who does this make sense for? If you're not able to make it to the event and you're not able to be there live at the time of the event, then you would hire someone from our street team. If you understand the value of marketing, hire someone from our street team. If you want more boots to the ground, maybe you already plan to be maybe in the Puyallup area if you're here in Washington State, but you want somebody to cover the bases in Bellevue or Seattle, hire someone from our street team. So again, more information on our flyer. And again, you can also use the QR code if it makes it easier. All right, so we're talking to you about starting your own media business ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Can't stress enough how important this is, but we're going to move on. So if you are a content creator or a podcaster, and maybe your niche is not necessarily working with restaurant owners or doing foodie content, maybe you can work with small business owners and be a small business reporter. So interview barbers because people are traveling, they want to look nice, they'll probably be in town for 2+ weeks or so. Then you can highlight some of the barbers in your area or the realtors because maybe somebody decided that they want to move to the area. So realtors would be great people to partner with to highlight and capture that experience. Retail shops, event organizers, any other vendors that sell their services or any products not including restaurant and food. So again, you can do the same things: YouTube videos, shorts, blog posts, newsletters, etc. If you want to just highlight community, talk about the festivals happening in your area, go to Facebook events or Eventbrite or Luma, Luma, to find out what other events coincide with the FIFA World Cup matches, like what's happening on the same day, around the same time. I know some of the matches are pretty late in the evening, like 5 to 10 p.m. here in Washington State for some of the matches. So is there anything at the beginning of the day? Accommodate families who are looking for something that is for the whole family to do and enjoy. Festivals, you have Juneteenth events, you have watch parties happening, fan experiences, local meetups. So we talked about Eventbrite, Luma, Facebook. Also add meetup.com to that list. If you are a content creator yourself and a podcaster, maybe you just want to work and network with other podcasters and content creators, then interview other content creators, interview influencers, photographers, DJs, musicians that are also down there. Again, we're happy to work with some of you guys. We can add a few more people to our street team. So if you don't want to be out in the mix by yourself on your lonely, you can join us. We're happy to have you tag along with us. And it just makes it easier. And then also more ground is covered. And then your content can be spruced up a bit, right? So you can do some of the viral TikTok dances or the trending audio sounds and stuff when you're working as a team and as a collective. Now, this is the World Cup opportunity. If you haven't caught it yet, this is what I want you to really grasp. Most people will wait until the World Cup starts, but your opportunity is now. So here are a few ideas for content that you can start putting together. If you get your blog together, you have your LLC, you can build a website very quickly using Manus.ai or Lovable, or Go High Level, just to name a few. You can start to get ahead of the curve and get some of that online foot traffic if you can really lay out really nice looking blogs that garner a lot of attention. So 10 restaurants visitors need to try. Meet the small business preparing for the World Cup. What Seattle business owners need to know. How creators can make money during the World Cup. Neighborhood guides, fan guides, transportation guides, local culture spotlights. Again, go to our website, hostcityhustle.com. We already have a few examples. We've created blogs. We have a lot of foot traffic coming to our website. We've been planning this for a very long time, since last year. So we're pretty ahead of the curve, and I'm not going to recommend anything to you that I'm not already doing myself. So again, you don't already have to be a podcaster or content creator. This is something you can do at last minute notice, right? To get ahead of the FIFA World Cup traffic that is about to come. So if you are a podcaster, please know a podcast is one product. A media company documents a community, right? So that is the distinction that you should actually be paying attention to. It's like, even if it doesn't align with your regular content per se, doesn't mean you shouldn't capture the moment. Again, this is a viral moment. This is a big moment in time. There's a lot of stuff happening around the World Cup where some people don't even have the type of fan zones that we're going to have. Some people are pushed out because the pricing of tickets is astronomical. And so people are going to want to be a part of this viral moment, but they won't get the opportunity simply because they can't afford it. So you get a chance to bring that to people. Like here in Seattle, we have these big, massive blow up projectors, food trucks and food vendors that are going to be all outside, and we're going to get a chance to like really capture the moment. I don't know that that's the case for people in Atlanta or California or in Mexico and Canada and other places where they're hosting the matches, right? But you get to still create a moment, right? Even if there's a match happening, you can have your phone in one device, so you can still be like on Threads, getting the information in real time. Then you can also be somewhere in the downtown area of your city, getting people's real-time reactions. Like, did you hear this is the latest update? This is the score. How do you feel about not being able to get into the arena? Did you care? Were you a soccer fan? Are you here because of the World Cup? Are you here for any other reason? Do you live here? Is this where you reside? Are you a resident? Asking all kind of questions just to capture the moment. And again, if there is a watch party, the fanfare is going to be out of this world. It's going to be lively, vibrant. People are going to be screaming. There's going to be some tension, right? Because there's going to be two different teams playing. So you can get all of that and bring that moment to people in real time that weren't otherwise able to attend. So in 2026, you guys, as we're coming to a close, the barrier to entry has never been lower. You don't need a studio. You don't need to be a journalist. You don't necessarily need to have a media pass. You don't need to have a huge audience, but you can create the momentum simply by being in the moment in real time. You simply need a phone, a nice system, not meaning like a whole sound system per se, but I mean like a system in place that says, okay, we plan on having this format, this style, this tone, this type of energy, these colors, this business, and all of those things in place. And the willingness to tell other people's stories. That's the only thing that matters. The question isn't whether the World Cup is going to create opportunities. The question is whether you will be there to help document them. That is all I wanted to share with you guys, is getting ahead of the curve before we FIFA. This is me representing. So we have these t-shirts available on our website, hostcityhustle.com. We don't even have just Seattle. We have all of the host cities. And as a matter of fact, since we have a little extra time, I'm just going to take you around the website so I can tell you exactly what I mean. Shout out to you guys who are watching on Twitch. Shout out to you who are watching on on YouTube. So how to start a media company. If you didn't get all of the information, go back to the beginning. We talked about which platforms you should use, where you can get your LLC established, and all of those things. But while we have a little extra time, I'm going to just take you through my website so you can get a strong example of what this looks like in real time, okay? Because I am not a gatekeeper. I love sharing information. So Host City Hustle. The funny thing is I also created a song on Suno, and my kids love my song. So you can even go as far as to create your own theme song. One of the other things I did was create, and I'll show you, as a matter of fact, since we're on the website, I created this loop video, added some lo-fi music to it. So you can also get a faceless YouTube channel going in 1 hour, right? And get some traffic that way as well. Anyways, let's go to hostcityhustle.com. So you guys know I'm a podcaster. Not only do I do the Plan to podcast, but I also have Host City Hustle. And our sole focus for the podcast is simply talking to you guys about the big sports events and opportunities that are coming to your city, and capturing that for small business owners and solopreneurs. So Host City Hustle is your go-to podcast for understanding what the 2026 FIFA World Cup means for small businesses, entrepreneurs, and communities across North America. Each episode dives into actionable strategies, expert insights, and real stories from the 16 host cities. Whether you are a restaurant owner in Dallas, a ride share driver in Miami, or a boutique operator in Seattle, this podcast is built for you. So that's the podcast. Then this is where all of our blogs live, right? So I'm going to go back a ways. These are the different blogs that we've done. Seven mistakes you're making with the World Cup in 2026 and your planning. This one, pop-up fan zones versus sponsored watch parties, which is better for your small business. And then more recently, today, we highlighted all of the content creators and storytellers in Seattle. You can do this for, like I said, where you live. So the official cameras will not catch everything. We have sports creators and soccer commentators that we highlighted, food creators that we highlighted on this blog, and all kind of other stuff. The next thing, education. So turn big city events into real business opportunities. So we have an accelerator program. This goes over the details of the accelerator program. Mind you, we've interviewed experts who understand all of these areas. We put that up in the course. And I just think that this is important because you need people to barter with. You need people who can help you switch up your thinking about your small business and make the small pivots in your business. So we cover all of these things within our course. And I think this is, like I said, helpful as a 6-week course for those of you who are interested. Then we have the information about the street team happening here. And then we have our store. So not only do we have our merch for the host cities, but we also have an ebook, again, talking about your comprehensive guide to winning the FIFA 2026 opportunity. We have readiness reports for Seattle, San Francisco, Toronto. We have others that are also available. And then if you want to contact us, of course, you can do so here. So this is our website, you guys. And to be quite honest, we built this on Lovable last year. And it was very easy to do. So like I said, go back through the whole video to understand exactly how you can put some of this stuff together for yourself. But it's very easy to start your own media company, especially if you plan to be out there capturing the content. This is how you start to protect your IP and build your own portfolio of digital assets that you can repurpose over and over and over again. One of the other things that I'm doing personally, I will be volunteering for the biggest Juneteenth event here in the Pacific Northwest. And we actually have been awarded for that, put on by not my group, but as a volunteer, I'm just like supporting their efforts. Let me go to it really fast. Juneteenth. Wow. So we were awarded the largest Juneteenth celebration. Let me share my screen. So as a volunteer, I will be boots to the ground and I will be talking to all of the vendors in the area, right? So this will be my first, not real life example, not my first real example, but this is how I can repurpose this experience, the Juneteenth event, put this up on my website to give people social proof for the people who want to hire me for the street team stuff. So being as though I'll be there, I'll be shaking hands, I'll be behind the scenes, I get to interview different vendors at their booths. I'll repurpose that, put that on my live stream, share people the link and tell them what I can do, and they'll be more inclined, hopefully, to want to do business and hire me for the street team offer that we're doing here. So to speak more about the street team for hire offer, again, all very reasonable. $25 for a flyer listing, meaning we're passing out flyers while we're at these events in the fan zones, in the thick of it. So you're still at your Philly cheesesteak shack, you're still at the business, you're still managing your food truck, you're still doing hair at the beauty salon, you're not able to be boots to the ground. We will put your information up on our flyer with your business logo, name, QR links, and we're able to tell people, hey, when you leave here or since you're still in the area for the next 2 weeks, hit up this location. Here's the QR code. Go follow all of these businesses, right? Now, this is probably what people will be more inclined to do as opposed to going on Google and searching on Google because somebody's face-to-face saying, hey, I put a stamp on these businesses, right? I recommend these businesses to you. So we'll do the flyer option, or you can do the flyer plus the live stream mention. So everything in the flyer package, plus we're going to mention you during our live stream. So we're going to have our StreamYard up. We're going to be interviewing people in real time, telling people about the experience and say, hey, by the way, here's a word from our sponsors, right? So we're going to be having your information, your picture, like I had mine up here. Your banner is going to be up just like this. right? And that's basically what people will get to see. Or the $100 option, everything in the $75 and $25 options. And then we're going to also mention you on our podcast for Whole City Hustle when we do our recap of everything, right? So you have an opportunity to really market your business. If you're not able to be boots to the ground, if you're not really good at marketing, if you have to be at your business and you can't be in these different fanfare experiences in real time, then this makes the most sense for you. But all that said, you guys go back, watch the live, comment the word replay if you're watching the replay, and let us know which of these things stood out to you most. Mind you, we spoke about how to start your own media company. We talked about the different tools and the different platforms that you can use to bring it all together. And we talked about the things that you can actually talk about in your blog or in your content to make it worth everyone's while, right? So that said, I am Danny Marie. I'll talk to you tomorrow, same time, 12:45 p.m. PST.
Daily the Brief with Danny Marie, where podcasting, AI, and pop culture meet. From creator news to what's trending today, we're breaking it down the Danny Marie way. Tips, tools, headlines, and industry tea. Weekdays at 12:45 PST. So grab your notebook, coffee, or your tea. It's Daily the Brief with Danny Marie.